I just want to say first off that we're really lucky in Butte-Silver Bow right now to have the coordination and the teamwork and the efforts that we have going together. We've always worked together as a team. When Pam had my position, I know she made great strides in getting folks coordinated to working together with the BLDC and the Chamber of Commerce and other organizations in the community. And since I've been in my position, we've been trying to keep that going and building upon that. But I know we're going to talk about what we've recently done in the last few years together to really strengthen that effort and actually solidify it into something that you can actually see and witness and almost feel. So we're going to get into that. But thanks for the introduction. Leo, I have been a resident of Butte my entire life. Went to Butte High School. I attended Montana Tech where Mr. Casper, Professor Casper, Dr. Casper was one of my very favorite professors ever. It inspired me to reach for my goals and
one of
get
my
my
very
master's
favorite
degree.
students.
And so I did get my master's degree in business administration from the University of Montana, and I have been an adjunct professor following in some great big footsteps since 2002 at Montana Tech. So I also share a great relationship up there with that incredible university, and so we're so lucky to have it in our town. So a little bit about me, but want to go?
Okay, so born and raised in Butte, Montana, 7 generations now. I'm thrilled to be back. When I was working for the governor and working for the senator, when I worked for the governor, I drove back and forth for 5 years because I just wasn't going to leave this town. This is my home. I think that was worked very well for us because we brought a different perspective in the governor's office to economic development. Then when the senator asked me to go to work for him, I was located in Butte, but I drove this entire state. I had the luxury and the honor of visiting every single community, every single county, every single economic development organization, all the universities, and I spent a lot of time on each one of the reservations. And I got to see things moving and shaking in other communities. But it killed me not to be back in Butte doing economic development. So while I was doing that, I came across this amazing program called the Blackstone Launchpad Program, and wrote a grant for $3 million and was able to get that grant in Montana at the University of Montana and at MSU. Unfortunately, when I asked them to put one up at Montana Tech in the same application, they wouldn't let me do it. So again, I said, well, all right, I'll head the program up, but I'm going to stay in Butte, and I drove back and forth. And I saw all this amazing development that was going on in these other communities, but I knew it was going on here too. There were people doing great things in this town. But what we weren't doing was telling our stories. And what we're so much different in Butte than these other communities is we're very humble, and they are not. And humble is good to a point. So what we're trying to be is obnoxious about telling this really great story of this really great place that we have, because it is great. That's why we're all here. And we want you to be as obnoxious as we are, but we know you're not. And so we've got this wonderful program that we have developed and this great partnership that includes many, many people. We're working daily. We meet weekly, sometimes more than that, together with this group of people. By the way, most of them are women. Sorry, men. No offense, but most of this is happening with women. And it's because there are women in these leadership roles. So we're working very closely with Kristen Rosa at Butte-Silver Bow. She's the TIPIT director. Cote and Byrnes, this amazing woman right here. Stephanie Serini from the Chamber of Commerce. Maria Porchavina, who heads up the TBID, which is the Tourism Business Advisory Water Improvement District. We got Kathy Faso from the Port of Montana. She's the director at the Port of Montana. We have Julie Jackshaw, who is the director of the Small Business Development Center at Headwaters RC&D. We do have Adam Benson, who works for me at Butte Local Development Corporation. Ray Rogers is my board chair and has been for 2 years. Rick Edwards is the board chair of Headwaters RC&D, and just recently Matt Vincent. And it was under Matt's tenure that we all decided, and he decided, we got to work better together. And we were working okay together, but we're working really great together now. Through that effort, and a lot of work was done, getting these huge committees together, we decided there has to be kind of one entity that's really telling Butte's story in a real positive manner, and that we're all telling the same story. So I'm going to turn it over to you, so you can talk about how we embarked on that.
Okay, so we established what we call the Butte Economic Development Coordinating Council. Now that's a mouthful. So we've shortened that to call it the BED-CC, and we jokingly say it's the Bed Country Club, but it's not. But it's a great organization that includes, all the people that Pam just mentioned, but all the folks in our community that are promoting our community in some way, shape, or form, including St. James Hospital, Montana Tech, the school district, folks that are out there that are visible. Like when someone, Googles or Bings, Butte, Montana, what's going to come up, right? What are they going to see? And so we wanted to make sure we had some sort of coordinated message, whether you were looking through it through education, healthcare, economic development, tourism, that there was some sort of unified message that you would know that you were getting the same sort of feel and touch of, this is Butte, Montana. So I don't know if you've seen, but we've done some releases of what we call Butte Elevated. That is the brand that we've established for our community, and we have a message with that. It's the best place to live, work, and play. So we can play elevated, we can work elevated, we can do all sorts of things elevated, and elevated means not just, hey, we're mile high, right? But we're really awesome, because we're elevated. We're really cool. And so that's what we came up with. And all the entities, we presented it to the entities, part of the BED-CC, and said, what do you think? Will you buy into this? Will you use this? Will you use this in your promotions? And everybody said yes. Now that was a huge, huge thing, because not everyone always agrees on what we should say and how we should say it. But it was such a simple yet strong, powerful message. Everyone bought into it. And I really have to give credit right now to Miss Julia Crane, who has been a part of this BED-CC for a really long time, and congratulate her. She had a baby girl this weekend, first child, little Thea. Yay! Thea Isabella is 9 pounds and very healthy. Beautiful little girl. But Julia was the brainchild behind the Butte Elevated look and concept. But then we worked with other marketing firms to develop it even further, fine-tune it. And we're out there. We're in monthly publications about playing elevated, and it's all really beautiful photographs and a really strong message. And so we've got that out there, so keep your eyes open for that. If you want access to that, we can get it to you. So you can use it on your own materials if you'd like.
So what we've got, we've developed, and by the way, I do want to give some credit and a great amount of gratitude to the Council of Commissioners, because they actually helped fund this effort. None of us could take it on. None of us had it in our budgets to do. And we were all working. We provided all the time and all the talent, but we couldn't do the printing and we couldn't that sort of thing. And so they gave us $7,800 last fiscal year. And we did it. We actually leveraged that, and I looked at the leverage, and we got about $50,000 worth of leverage out of that $7,800. And with that, we have a website at butteelevated.com. Please take a look at it. We've got Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts. We've had over 300 hits on just our Facebook account since July. We have an Adopt a Instagram account, 300,000, that's what I meant, sorry, 300,000 since July 1st. Some of you have been Instagram adoptees. Leo was, I believe, weren't you, or was it?
No.
Was it? I can't remember.
No, somebody.
Maybe it was your beautiful wife was.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I know
think
Heather
so.
was.
Heather was. My daughter was. That's right. I should say Heather was. Yeah. We've had every week since July 1st, we've had someone adopt our Instagram account so that we could show their network and our network and all the other networks out there how great it is a week in the life of someone here in Butte. And the goal is the first day that they would go out and they would introduce themselves with a photo saying, here's what I do. It was never to support a person or a business, but just to support the lifestyle and show the lifestyle here in Butte. And then the following 4 or 5 days would be another snapshot about here's what they're doing. So they show people outside doing amazing things, or inside at wonderful offices or innovative places, and it's been really, really successful. And what we found, Stephanie Serini was one of those.
Got it today.
Stephanie is today. That's
Got it
right.
this week.
There you go. That's right. what we're finding is we did a really great job that first year. And the goal was to change the dialogue here in Butte. We beat up on ourselves. I hear people talk about how this is a dirty place, or how we have bad air, or how we have bad soil. We don't. We have the cleanest water in the entire state of Montana. We have beautiful fisheries, wonderful mountains, the most trails, the most access to recreation you can find. But we need to tell ourselves that. We need to tell our neighbors that. We need you telling everybody else that. We need to stop talking poorly about this great place that we live. We beat up on ourselves. And I found that out because of doing all the work I did someplace else. They don't do it other places. At least I didn't see it. And I spent a lot of time there. And I think that comes, I don't know why, we're harder on ourselves than most people are. So, what we're asking you to do is be a part of this Butte Elevated campaign. When you're doing something amazing in this town, like coming to this meeting, take a picture, send it to us. We want to show it. If you want to be an Instagram adoptee, we want you to do that. We do have some rules. We don't want any naked photos of Leo out there. We do have just a few little rules on there. Just a couple stipulations out there. But what we're trying to do is change our own dialogue, and we think it's working. In fact, we don't think it's working. The statistics show that it is working. We just received another $4,000 from the Council of Commissioners to do some more work. And with that, I think we're going to be doing a video. We're going to be doing some stickers that you can put on your places of business or in your windows that talk about elevated, live elevated, play elevated, work elevated, talent elevated. We have some of our union brothers over here. Union elevated, whatever it is, right? It just really, really works. And so that's part of this next step, next phase that we're going to be doing, is to continue down this path, figure out how we can build in sustainability. And I think we figured that out now too. The BLDC, we kind of got our house in order. We raised a little bit of money. We hired a new marketing person. We have a $30,000 marketing budget, which we haven't had a marketing budget in 10 years, right? So, what we're going to be doing is telling our story. And we're helping our partners tell their story too, and they're doing the same thing for us. So we're telling the same story. We're having the same photographs. We still keep our own identities, but we're using each other's information. We're not recreating the wheel. We are doing a blog on our website, bldc.net. It's a great resource, so please take a look at it. We've got newsletters, and we're sharing all of this stuff, because when we collaborate, we leverage. And when we collaborate, we have successes. And I think this group of amazing women, by the way, it's all women right now. We want some men on this team.
We'll let her
We're coupling, are working so well together. And we're finding that we're supporting each other. We can't do it all by ourselves, because none of us have the capacity. But we can call and say, hey, will you stand up here with me today? And we do. Questions, or maybe you want to add some more things to this, because it's...
I think we hit it all. I'm trying to think if there's something that we missed, but it's really just, being very positive about what we have and how we can promote it. But yeah, questions, great. Dr. Jacobson.
I'd like to ask a feet on the ground question. MSC. Can you expand on what's happening right now?
I can give you a little bit of what's happening right now. As you all know, MSC has some debt with USDA Rural Development Federal Agency. And that federal agency just sold their note, not the land, not the business, just sold the debt on the secondary market. We don't know to whom they sold it. It wasn't a local group of individuals. We do know that. We have heard a rumor, might be somebody from Texas. I have no idea. Probably a rumor. You know Butte, right? That's the other thing that happens in this town that I don't see a lot of times. And so we don't know what the outcome of that is. But I can tell you that they bought the note. They don't have the land. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the company. They have the note. What that means is MSE still owes the individual or the corporation or the entity or investment firm that purchased a note that loan. We haven't been able to have discussions with those individuals to find out what they want to do. I popped in because I suspected this was going to come up today. Talked to Jim Cambridge and said, have you heard anything? Has MSE heard anything yet from the new buyer? And they haven't. That's what I know so far. I can tell you that we're still working every day, all of us, to see how we can assist MSE in becoming this amazing, viable company that they can be. It's kind of a difficult time for them right now. They don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes I think not knowing is worse. So we hope to find out who's purchased it, what that individual or entity wants with that, and then that we will all go in, sit down, and say, how can we help you? That's the first thing we want to do. Secondly, we all understand and agree that the facility itself is hugely valuable. The infrastructure is hugely valuable. There's been a lot of money poured into the infrastructure out there. We want to make sure that we can retain that. So, of course, those conversations are going to be had with the new owner of the note to see how we can help and assist them in making sure we can retain that infrastructure. That's all I know now, Mr. Jacobson. Dr. Jacobson, John, you can call my office if we hear any more. There was a tour some of you might have been on a couple weeks ago before Christmas. The Butte-Silver Bow had a public tour, took a tour out there to take a look at the facilities. There might have been some consideration to move the county shops out there. That's still something that's being talked about, but we have a new administration now, and so we're kind of starting all over. Don't know how that's going to proceed, and we haven't had those discussions yet. Yeah, there you go. Yes?
Say, yesterday in Helena, the Chamber of Commerce held at the Capitol, it was in the paper, they called their
Business
day or something. And a gentleman, I can't remember the name, who was the head of the Big Sky Economic Development Authority.
Yeah, his name is Steve Arwiscow.
Said that the single most important issue facing Montana today is the issue of workforce development.
That's right.
With the increase of people retiring and what have you, they're basically saying we don't have enough skilled and trained people to fill our workforce. My question is, what's being done in our county to address that issue, which he says is the most important issue in Montana?
So we do have a workforce effort that's going on, and we are working hand in glove with Karen and Kristen and Stephanie and this group that we're talking about. We actually formed a workforce, I don't want to call it a cluster, but a workforce committee. Essentially initially it was set up around high-tech manufacturing, and we have since then expanded it. And what we found out when we brought these individuals together, it wasn't just this didn't start out workforce. We brought them all together and said, what's the major factors that are impeding your growth? And there were a number of them. And then we had them sit down as a group and figure out what the top 3 or 4 of those were. Workforce came to the top. So what we did is we pulled the group together again. We have 2 committee chairs, or vice chairs, or co-chairs, or whatever you want to call it. Jim Bennett from Harrington Pepsi. By the way, Harrington Pepsi, Coca-Cola, these bottling companies, they are high-tech manufacturing companies. If you haven't had a tour, go do that. You cannot believe the robotics and the science and the chemistry that goes into these facilities. We take it for granted when we drink that Diet Pepsi that, that's just, whatever it is. I was blown away when I saw it. They need talent. The other co-chair is a guy by the name of Chris Urich. He is the manager or director of Montana Precision Products, GE, out at the Tippet. And he needs welders, and he needs them quick, and he needs them to be experts. And so we got these folks together, and we decided we got to start young. We have an immediate issue, and they're kind of solving that immediate issue, but we need to start young. How young do we need to start? We need to probably start in the grade schools. That's why early education is an important thing. This group, I know, supports early ed, but we're not going to get there because we got a more immediate need than that. So we're starting in the high schools. And just before school started, in August, our school district partners pulled together They're teachers that are doing anything in the trades, anything in everything. They pulled together these amazing teachers who are our first line of defense, or whatever you want to call it, our first resource, and said to them, how can we work with you, we meaning industry, how can industry work with you to develop work-ready or job readiness skills in these high school students? That's all they're asking for right now. They're not asking that they come out welders, or they're not asking that they come out IT professionals. They want to be able to train these individuals and get them to where they need to go to be trained. But what they were really seeing was job readiness skills. And so that's what they're starting. The school district is starting a curriculum around this, and we've got individuals, any of you, all of you, please, if you want to go in and talk to these students and inspire them to get into some sort of industry or employment, career, or whatever it is, we need you to go in and inspire these kids. Not all of them are going to go to college. Not all of them can go to college. It's amazing how many kids in Butte cannot go to college because they can't afford it, whose parents don't expect them to go to college. We don't want them all to go to college. That's a terrible thing to say, especially to a professor. But, you know, we need people to do things, right? We got to have some of this stuff. And we need skilled workers. So we're working on some things. I was just talking to our brothers over there about a program that we're trying to get going at the Local Development Corp. We're working with Kristen and Karen to get that project off and going. And so we're really working on it. We're starting younger. And then I also sit on the Governors, it's the National Governors Association Work-Based Training Program. There's one of 50 of us in the nation. I'm representing Montana. We meet about every quarter to figure out how we actually institute work-based learning in high school. It becomes something that happens. And so what will happen then is these kids will go as they go through their career in high school, they will find out what they really like. We will match them with a company in their community, and they will actually then do some learning right in that company. And so that's something that we're working on too. But we haven't had our meeting yet. We'll probably meet next month or the month after. We've done an awful lot of work on that. But we understand that and infrastructure are the two most important things facing the state right now.
The advertising and promo stuff, it's very exciting. I don't have a question, just a brief heads up if you didn't already know. Dave Palmer may be even more of an ally than you realize. When we had the spring meeting here with the candidates for the primary, Robbie Taylor got up, gave a brief explanation of the cultural and arts assets, and then asked each to answer the question, if elected, what would you do to help arts and culture, especially uptown? Everybody gave these long, drawn-out answers that added up to nothing. When they got to Dave, he stood up and said, more advertising. That was it. And Dave strikes me, when Dave says something, he may not say a lot, but he does say a lot. And that certainly changed my vote over to Dave at that time, that he really got that part of what we need is more ads and promos. So I just wanted to tell you, I think you've got even more of an asset in him than you may have realized.
Oh, no, I think we have great support. And I can tell you that, Robbie, arts, we understand that we cannot have a vibrant community without arts and culture. We can't do it. And so that's something that we are focused on. And that's part of the BLDC is doing, we're doing some of our own strategic internal planning on what we want to see coming up this next year. Arts and culture is part of that. Access to capital, all kinds of those kind of things. So we understand that. Advertising and promotion, we get it. And we get it so much we put it in our budget. I want to know what that return's going to be. So I just don't have it in there and say, okay, I'm willy-nilly going to spend this stuff. We're actually meeting next week to say, what are we going to do with this money? Right? In addition to us hiring a full-time marketing person, who, by the way, we are sharing with the Chamber of Commerce for free. The T-bid is putting in some money, so we're going to share with the T-bid. Butte-Silver Bow is putting in some money, so we're going to share it with Butte-Silver Bow. And then the BLDC hired them, this individual. And we do believe by having one person working with all of these entities that do economic development, the leverage again is huge, the The message is the same, but different for each one of our organizations, and we actually reach a broader audience. Did I answer your question? I kind of editorialized a little bit. Yeah, sorry. And arts and culture, important part.
Oh, arts and culture, but I mean, when he just said those two words, it stuck with me to this day. The other thing, I guess, that would become the question, we've got the Butte elevated, and that's been very well explained, and we know where that's going. Just recently on TV, you see these ads, which I think come out of the movie with the McKees that's under the big sky. Does anybody have any sense of how Butte elevated type of marketing, under the big sky type marketing, and the good old fashioned, you know, the stuff Main Street used to do off and on to shops and KXLF is doing right now? And does anybody have a sense of, you know, are all three still necessary? Does one do better than the other?
I think we need them all. I would think so. You know, I think that anytime you're talking about Butte, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
When we had that little bit, that blip of the bad thing, you know, that happened in December. Yeah. So, you know, let me tell you what happened to our traffic on our website. Please go to my website. It's a great website. When I thought to myself, all right, people are coming to my website and they're seeing how great Butte is. So that was unfortunate, but the traffic we got on our website was fantastic. Now, am I going to get anything in the door? I don't know. You're never going to see the glass half full with me or this group. It doesn't exist. We are positive. There are opportunities here. We're not talking about the bad things. We're fixing them. It might take some time, but that's what we're doing.
No.
Oh, no? Any other questions?
All right. Well, thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you. I do have some presents. We brought some presents. We have some of our, it's kind of marketing material. Please take some of it, or any of it, or please take one or two, I don't care. If you have ideas, I don't have all the ideas. I don't.
That's all right.
I rely on really smart people to give me great ideas. Please look at our website. Please come and visit me, or Karen, or Kristen. We want to know what you're thinking. We want to know your opinions. We want to have ideas, and we also want your network. So help us out. Thanks.
Put it on the filing cabinet.
Thank you, Pam and Karen. That was a great program. I don't know.